It should be blue skies, it should be blazing sunshine, it should be baking heat. It was about 25 degrees here yesterday and the day before. Look what it's like now. I wouldn't like to be a driver in those conditions, particularly anybody other than Damon Hill, because if Hill gets away smartly from pole position on the left-hand side of the grid, he will be in a very strong position. 20 cars to start, with the 240s having failed to qualify, and Damon Hill has got a tremendous opportunity. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go! And Hill is away well. Tucked up behind him is the Benetton, and Michael Schumacher has been left at the start. And there's a jostling for position as they go into the first right-hander coming towards us. It is a Williams in the lead. Behind him is the Benetton, and it's Jacques Villeneuve who is leading. He's got ahead of Damon Hill, and so has Jean Alesi. Gerhard Berger is in fourth position in the second Benetton. So a magnificent start by the young Canadian who's not used to these conditions and who lost 45 minutes of practice time yesterday to set up his car. Now he has got the advantage that we expected Damon Hill to have, and Jean Alesi, who has had so many collisions this year, is in a good position in this race because he's only got one car in front of him, and off goes, it looks like one of the Minardis to me, and still it is Villeneuve leading. It is Alesi in second position. It is in third position. It's Pedro Lamy who's gone out. Pedro Lamy off on the first lap, even before the first corner. And Coulthard is out, and the left front wheel is missing off the McLaren. Villeneuve leads, Alesi second, Hill is third, and that must have been it. Coulthard must have collided with Pedro Lamy. And coming towards us now is Fissy Keller, and you can see, look at his left front wing, and he's got a puncture, I think, on the left front wheel.
And conditions extremely treacherous, and that's Eddie Irvine off in the Ferrari.
Yeah, Irvine out, and Schumacher down in fifth position. Now, Schumacher was blaming his clutch for his bad start at Monaco. It's likely to have been that here again, but now we're on lap 3, and you can see the battle for the lead. It's Villeneuve in front. Behind him is Alesi, who's just gone fastest on the second lap. Damon Hill is third, and 2.5 seconds covers the first 3.
That is Herbert, Johnny Herbert in the Sauber. Now let's stay with him aloft, please, to see if he gets out of that gravel trap, or is he going to get bogged down. He's keeping it going. It looks like Herbert should be able to get back on. He's not damaged the car. There's his teammate, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, going by in his Sauber. Come on, Johnny, keep it going, keep your foot in. He needs just to keep that thing rolling. If it comes to a stop, he'll never get it away. And that looks like one of the Arrows, TW Arrows cars. Herbert back on the track there.
Hill onto the grass now. Has he managed to keep going? It's Johnny Herbert managed to do so. Damon Hill spins off, and he's keeping those wheels rolling, and Berger goes past up into third position, and Damon Hill rejoins. He's back in the race. Now that's the important thing. He's kept his momentum up, and Schumacher has got past as well. So Damon Hill has got it all to do now, but then so has Villeneuve.
What's interesting is Villeneuve is actually holding up, not just Alesi and Schumacher, but if we look at the lap times, his last lap was a 1:52.3, and Hill's off again.
Damon Hill off again. Now, is this the end? He's managed to regain the track, but that's the second time Damon's gone off, and I was saying earlier on that he was likely to be the happiest man in terms of his car handling. I was expecting Schumacher to have problems. I was expecting Alesi to have problems. I was expecting Villeneuve to have them. And again, Michael Schumacher dodges out from behind the rear wing of Jean Alesi's Benetton. And it's not the first 3. It is Damon Hill who has got a problem. And Rubens Barrichello has passed him. And Damon is only in the top 6. And now there is Schumacher and Alesi. It's fantastic for second position, and this is lap 9 in this 65 lap race. And Damon Hill is now down in 8th position. He's been passed by Frentzen, he's been passed by Verstappen, and Schumacher goes through, passes Jean Alesi and moves up into second place with a bit of brilliant driving in these appalling conditions. Jean Alesi won't give up though. He was vying for the lead, now he's lost second place, and Schumacher is going to be pushing the least experienced top Grand Prix driver. Here's a replay of Damon Hill. The car slides sideways.
And that's Damon Hill out.
Damon Hill out of the Spanish Grand Prix on lap 12. No points at Monaco, no points here in Spain. You can see how dejected he is, because quite apart from anything else, he's in the position of seeing his World Championship lead. And Schumacher is there with a clear track ahead of him, past Jacques Villeneuve. We didn't see the passing move, but we see the result of it. And Schumacher has brilliantly worked his way up from, first of all, third on the grid, then he dropped back into fifth position, and he now leads Jacques Villeneuve. This is very much the world champion at his best. Here is the result of Damon. This is his third spin in the race.
And that is exactly what Heinz-Harald Frentzen did, with rather worse results. That will have been quite a bang against that wall there. That will have certainly damaged the right front suspension. That's the Ligier Diniz that we're looking at, getting out of shape, running wide. He's destined for the gravel trap, I'm sure. Well, yes, he is. Now, he needs to keep his foot in, of course. Now, although the gravel trap should slow the cars down, it is a little bit tougher for the organisers, I must say, in the wet. And that's quite right there. He goes around the outside and gets off the gooey gravel, gets on a bit of harder, compacted grass, and gets himself back on the track. Tyrrell, is it there? No, they're both out. Yes, it is a Tyrrell. It's Salo. Just about managed to spot that there, and Salo obviously started from the pit lane there. Has he kept it running? Yes, he has. Another bit of rally crossing will get him back on the track.
Only one man is gaining at the present moment. Two, actually. Berger is gaining on his teammate Alesi, and Barrichello, and Johnny Herbert spins the Sauber. Does he go into the wall? Can he keep it running? Does he keep it running? Is that rear wing going to be all right? It doesn't touch the tyres. And Michael Schumacher comes off the track into the pit lane at the end of the 23rd lap, and he's 37 seconds ahead of Jacques Villeneuve, and they could practically change the gearbox and the engine and everything else. I'm joking, of course, but what I mean is he's got all the time in the world to have a very gentle and deliberate pit stop. Now, that looked like a splash and dash stop to me. He seemed to take very little fuel on while he changed the wheels and tyres. Schumacher continuing to lap some 4 seconds a lap faster than the two who are pursuing him that you're looking at, Villeneuve and Alesi. And as recently as the San Marino Grand Prix, which after all is only 2 Grand Prix ago, it really was looking as though Damon Hill was absolutely going to walk this World Championship. He had at that time won 4 out of the 5 races that had been held. But it's been a downturn since then. Retirement in Monaco through no fault of his own when the engine blew as he came out of the tunnel. Retirement here, having spun off twice before the time that he spun off, which took him out of the race. And the World Championship, whilst he's still considerably in the lead, is not looking so sure now, with the Ferrari getting better and better, and with the genius of Michael Schumacher in control of it. Alesi comes in, the Benetton people hold out the lollipop. He goes over the earthing strip, which you saw sticking up underneath the car. And of course, Villeneuve has gone through. He's pulling away all the time, but Alesi is stationary in the pits. 11.9 seconds. Now Berger will go through into third position, in fact has already done so, and so has Rubens Barrichello, who is now fourth, and Frentzen, who is fifth. So Alesi came in third, exits sixth, but he has made his stop. Villeneuve has not, Berger has not, Barrichello has not, and Frentzen has not. In comes Villeneuve, who was only 3 seconds ahead of Rubens Barrichello. So the Brazilian goes past me now and moves up into second place in the Spanish Grand Prix. Now, the next question is, will Jean Alesi and Gerhard Berger get past before Jacques Villeneuve exits the pit lane? The quickest stop we've had so far was about 6 or 7 seconds. Out goes Villeneuve in a second less than it took Alesi, but Alesi goes through now, and Alesi goes up ahead of Villeneuve into third position.
Rubens Barrichello is coming in again. This looks like a problem for Barrichello. We've also got Gerhard Berger, who's dropped right back. I just wonder if they've had any kind of coming together. I wouldn't have thought so. They should have been too far away for that. Maybe it's the transmission, a gearbox problem, is it? He takes a gear, he stalls the engine. Barrichello is climbing out of the car. This is a very, very sad end to a great drive from Barrichello. His prowess in the wet has been demonstrated many times before. It was in Brazil until he had a spin off and put him out of the race.
Out goes Jos Verstappen, spins out and stalls the engine onto the grass in the arrows. Now there are 6, so everybody who is left in the race is in the points. Schumacher, Alesi, Villeneuve, Frentzen, Hakkinen moves up into 5th. And wonder of wonders, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, Pedro Diniz, who's never looked like scoring a World Championship point in his life, with first of all 40 and now Ligier, is doing just that. That's a replay of Verstappen spinning out, and Pedro Diniz from Brazil is up into 6th position. Lap 57, Jean Alesi has got the message. He is lapping at the same speed as, or even marginally quicker than, Jacques Villeneuve. Now the gap is gone up from 3 seconds to 3.2 seconds on this, the 57th lap, and only 3 cars and drivers are on the same lap. And they are Schumacher, Alesi and Villeneuve, and the Benetton in second place. The Williams in third position are some 56 to 60 seconds behind the car and driver that you're looking at, the supreme Michael Schumacher, who's driving in this race. I frankly cannot find words good enough to praise. It is going to be an historic win for Schumacher, for Ferrari, and the first win ever for a Ferrari V10 engine. A quiet smile on the face of Jean Todt, which I'm sure will become a very broad one in a few seconds' time. Michael Schumacher has driven absolutely magnificently to underline enormously his World Championship status, and he enters now the last corner, and Michael Schumacher wins the Spanish Grand Prix after an absolutely superlative drive to give himself 10 World Championship points, to give Ferrari 10 World Championship points, to bring the great Maranello concern back right to the front of Formula One. Alesi does indeed finish second for Benetton. Villeneuve does indeed finish third for Williams, and they are the only 2, apart from Schumacher, to go the full race distance of 65 laps. And after receiving their awards from King Juan Carlos of Spain himself, now the traditional champagne. They couldn't be any wetter. They don't mind that they're wet. They're wet as a result of staying in the car for the full distance. Jean Todt won't mind one little bit either. The diminutive Frenchman there has brought Ferrari back to the front.
I mean, it's amazing. If anyone would have asked me how much I would bet on this, I wouldn't have even bet a penny on it, because after qualifying, we were nowhere in comparison to Williams, and even in the rain after Brazil, Monaco, the car didn't feel good, so I wasn't expecting anything good from this weather condition. But when I went out in warm-up, the car was handling well, and I was very surprised about that. And in the race, I think we have not got a present from anyone. I just pushed it to the victory, and the car has been superb, especially at the beginning, and I was able to do the job.